This is Steve Robbins. Welcome to the Get It Done Guys quick and dirty tips to work less and do more. These days, most of our writing life is now online. And because, of course, you listened to my previous episode on using Markdown, you obviously use Markdown so that you can keep your writing flow while still writing formatted text. There's a link to the Markdown episode in this episode's transcript. Since writing that episode, however, I've come up with more super secret advanced ways that Markdown can improve your productivity even more. Grandma Cuddles is sending an email to her little kitty's parents about a field trip. It was a community service trip. Grandma Cuddles was going to teach the tots about the value of hard work through cleaning up their community. She needed to send a liability waiver to each parent because, well, picking up pieces of trash might involve sticks with a very sharp point that could accidentally pierce tiny feet and hands. Grandma Cuddles uses an online mass mailing service to send these emails. She had sent emails like this before, so she just cut and pasted chunks ripped from previous letters right into her web-based email composer. But every time she sent herself a test email, the text that she had pasted in was in a different font. Jokerman? Papyrus? Comic Sans? She couldn't send it like this. Use Markdown to get great formatting when web-based editors won't cooperate. If you work on the web, you may have a web-based email composer or a list manager. The primary function of a list manager is to manage lists. That means composing and sending messages. But every single online message composer I've used doesn't quite work right. The message looks great in the editor, but the test message arrives purple. Yes, purple. Use Markdown to save yourself from these broken, half-working, unreliable programs. The purple text happens because the HTML that the editor generates is really quite messy. Most editors have a way to view the HTML and to paste your own HTML over what the editor itself generated. So here's the trick. Use Markdown to generate the HTML and just paste the HTML into the editor's HTML view. Using a program called Marked2 for the Mac, which you can learn about in the previous episode, which is linked to from this episode's transcript, preview your Markdown text. And then Marked2 allows you to look at the translated HTML. So just cut and paste the HTML directly into the HTML view for Aweber, Eventbrite confirmation pages, Eventbrite emails, MailChimp, or whatever beast you're trying to tame that has an HTML view. The email was formatted and sent thanks to Markdown, and Grandma Cuddles wanted to post a blog article about the field trip. Her blogging platform supports rich text but doesn't have an HTML view. Oh no! It felt like she was back to square one. But never fear, Grandma Cuddles. The Get It Done Guy supports all of your educational endeavors. Use Markdown tools so you can use Markdown anywhere. When using a blogging platform that doesn't support HTML, I use free, Macintosh only I'm afraid, tools called Markdown Tools. There's a link in this episode's transcript. Markdown Tools lets you use keyboard shortcuts to create rich text formatting right in whatever editor you're using. If you use a Windows machine, you'll have to do some hunting around to find something equivalent. I wasn't able to find one easily. For Mac users, just compose in Markdown in the rich text editor. So don't use any formatting, just type in your Markdown. Then select the Markdown and choose a Markdown tool from the Services menu. You can convert the Markdown to rich text, you can convert it to HTML, you can renumber Markdown lists, and so on. It lets you use Markdown anywhere there is rich text. Grandma Cuddles used Markdown tools directly in Notepad to compose a super pretty, totally itemized, very extensive list of clothes to purchase for the tykes, sunscreen, work gloves, old boots, and a footnote that the decorative cast iron ankle bracelets would be provided. Apparently, Cuddles prefers the kind that get welded on, so the kitties don't remove them accidentally during play break. Use Markdown here for Gmail. For anyone who uses Chrome, Firefox, Safari, Thunderbird, or Postbox, there's a plugin that lets you use Markdown in Gmail. It's called Markdown Here, and you can download it from markdown-here.com. Make your styling beautiful and consistent by using Markdown Here. Having learned from her experience with her email editor, Grandma Cuddles installed the Markdown Tools services on her Mac and began composing the blog post. She worked with Markdown right off the bat, and by the time she got to the step of previewing the post, her work looked great. She added the finishing touch, a picture from the previous year's community service outing with 40 little tots marching in an orderly line down the highway median. What fun it is to work and learn 230 days with no injuries. Markdown helps you compose formatted text using Markdown. Use Markdown to have the fine-grained control over the HTML that's generated by imperfect web message editors. Use Markdown to enter rich text into an editor that doesn't support HTML directly, and use Markdown tools to get Markdown use anywhere on your computer. And if you use Gmail, use Markdown here on any platform to use Markdown with Gmail. This is Steve Robbins. Follow Get It Done Guy on Twitter and Facebook. I run webinars and other programs to help people be extraordinarily productive and build extraordinary careers. If you want to know more, and you do, visit steverobbins.com. That's SteverRobbins.com. Work less, do more, and have a great life.